Hi everyone, welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I am broadcasting to you from Budapest, Central Europe, Hungary. Hi Rakha Rawat, good to see a member in here nice and early. Hi Deep Brar, always good to see you in class. Hi Fridoon Frog, hi Allah Marzok. Welcome everybody to today's lesson. All right, today we are looking at an IELTS Task 2 writing. I said yesterday IELTS Task 1, but we're doing a Task 1 on Saturday for the members chat. So let's do a Task 2 today, cover a wider range of topics. Materials are coming from our websites, aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. By the way, students, good job, those of you who sent me the speaking recordings from yesterday's class. There were some really nice responses by some students to those 3 questions that were for homework. So good job. You know who you are, those students who sent them. So excellent. Well done. Hi, Eugene. Hi, everybody who's joining in. You can download our app from your Google Play or iTunes store. Look for Academic IELTS Help. Look for our logo. We're working on our general IELTS app as well, so we'll get that up to you early next year. Again, we're celebrating our new feature on our websites, which is the student partner speaking, like WhatsApp or like Skype, the same type of system, either video, audio options. Use partner 30 to get a 30% discount from our website premium course. You can use the speaking function without having to use the premium course. Okay, students, so if you have questions for me about our products or IELTS, just send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com, and I will do my best to reply. Hi, Begzad. Hi, Preeti. Hi, Marwa. Good to see some more of our members joining in on the class, and hello to all of our other viewers as well. All right, here's our schedule for the live streaming. Our streaming schedule is according to Central European Time, CET. So if you put that into Google, it will tell you the time zone difference from where you are at. Okay, today, Task 2, Causes and Solutions type of essay. It's very common, general and academic, Task 2. Tomorrow, some reading strategy. And then, as I said, on Saturday, it will be a Task 1 diagram that was requested by one of our students. Okay. Of course, here, especially in Europe and in the West, it's holiday season coming up with Christmas and New Year's. So no class 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, but back on the 27th with some speaking part 1 and 2. Again, no class on the 28th. There's a special event for us at our company. And then 29th to the 31st, there's some more classes. And then, of course, New Year's. And right after New Year's, there's no class. So just before and after New Year's. So keep that in mind. We'll always keep you posted. The schedule is up in our YouTube community posts as well. So you can check it out there. Hi, Kesey. Awesome to see so many of our members paying attention and keeping up with your studies, as you should, All right, Task 2 writing. Let's get right into it today. I want to work through the whole essay with you. So you have 40 minutes for your Task 2 writing. You should spend 40 minutes on it, okay? You should do it after Task 1. The reason is that Task 2 is worth twice as much as Task 1, so you really want to do a good job on Task 2 and use Task 1 to warm up a bit, get the brain, the fingers working on writing, on good penmanship, so that when you get to Task 2, you're really into it and you are ready to do a stellar job. All right, Task 2, 250 words minimum, ladies and gentlemen, minimum, okay? You really need to be able to write 250 words of quality words, sentences, paragraphs to put together your essay so that you can get a band 6.5, 7, 7.5, 8.5, and even a 9 if you're really on top of it. Okay, so 250 words minimum. If you have trouble getting to 250 words in the 40 minutes, just do lots of writing, lots of reading every day. Okay, you'll get there. All right, this is the question for today. In many countries around the world, there is an alarming increase in the use of pharmaceutical drugs like painkillers and sleeping pills unnecessarily. What are the causes of this problem and possible solutions? So kind of a riveting question for today's class. Include any relevant explanations and examples from your own experience to support your opinion. Okay, so your first step is you should try to paraphrase this question in your own words as much as possible. So let's do that together. You can do it while I do it, and then we'll match it up. Now, again, my goal here for today is to work through the whole essay with you. So introduction, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, conclusion, and really do a back and forth working with each other to maximize your skills and get good bands in your writing, okay? So go ahead and paraphrase this. Paraphrasing means write the question in your own words. This is not the beginning of your essay, but you will be able to use this in your introduction, okay? So I'm going to do the same, and then we'll compare. All right, let's see what you have. So gave you a couple of minutes there while I was, well, not even a couple, maybe just a minute and a half. In the real IELTS, you should be able to do this in no more than 1 or 2 minutes, okay? So let's see what you have. Fredoon says, against drug resistance is by the body a big problem. The cause is using unnecessary drug of prescription and out of doctor's guiding. Fredoon, you have some good words, but really confusing text. It is grammatically flawed in both syntax and grammar structure, so you need to rephrase that, okay? Begzod says, the unnecessary use of medicine, such as painkillers and sleeping pills, has been on the rise drastically around the world. Begzod, notice that correction, has been on the rise drastically around the world. Mert Khan, Sengiz. In various countries all over the world, there is a critical increase in the usage of pharmaceutical drugs such as painkillers and sleeping pills. Beautiful. That's a really nice paraphrase, Mert Khan. Good on you. Okay. Sakita says, in several nations all over the world, there's an enormous growth of consumption of medicines like painkillers and sleeping tablets. Nice paraphrasing, Sakita. Good job. Okay. Those are some nice synonyms and some nice structural paraphrases using grammar as well. So good job, students. Practicing paraphrasing at home is an absolute must to increase your band scores on all parts of the IELTS. Okay, it is the if I had to say the most important skill to practice for a good IELTS band score is paraphrasing. Paraphrase every day. This is my paraphrase here. In several nations globally, there is a concerning overuse in the consumption of medical or legal drugs, right? Pharmaceutical, it's another way to say it, is medical or legal drugs, like painkillers and sleeping pills. What has led to this situation, and how can it be fixed? Okay, all right. So, what's the topic? Pharmaceutical drugs, right? We're going to move nice and smooth here today, ladies and gents, because I want to get to the writing. So topic, legal or pharmaceutical. Prescription was another one. One of you paraphrased really nicely there with the word prescription. Legal, pharmaceutical, prescription, drugs, okay? That is the topic. If you can paraphrase in these three ways, great. That's going to help your score, okay? Because that's lexical resource. IELTS is marking you on lexical resource. So if you can think of three beautiful ways to paraphrase the topic like this, then that will help you to increase your band scores, okay? That will impress the examiner. Controlling idea, causes and solutions for the overuse of medical drugs. Okay, so that is the controlling idea. It's two parts, right? Causes and solutions. Now, in this one, we will be able to think of causes and solutions as two paragraphs, one cause, one solution for each one. Don't panic. I'll explain that more in a minute. Okay. So what are these? Let's just quickly go over this. Let's get some insight. Okay, what are these pharmaceutical drugs? All right. What are they? Can you tell me what they are? I mean, we gave some examples, right? Okay, and this is a really important what, why, how here. Let's move through it nice and quick, okay? We're at 12 minutes, and I really want to get this full essay done together with you in 1 hour to show you that even with all this explanation and dialogue and back and forth between us, you and myself, we can write a fantastic essay in 1 hour, right? That means in the real IELTS in 40 minutes, where you don't have me talking, of course. Hopefully you hear me inside your head giving you tips, but you should be able to do it in 40 minutes, okay? Okay, Mike Maddie says it's medicine to cure diseases. Okay, that's, you're including the Y in there. So what are they? It's medicine. But what is it? What is a pharmaceutical drug? Marwa, very good. Marwa says it's a synthetic chemical that affects the human body. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of different kinds. Jashil Parwal says it's a drug which is prescribed by doctors, but the best definition so far is synthetic chemicals that have effects on the body, on the human body, right? That's what a prescription or a pharmaceutical drug is, okay? Remember, it's a very important skill, students, to be able to clearly separate what, why, how concepts. That will really help you to write a powerful essay, put your ideas together well, study effectively, increase your English, increase your communication skill in English and in your own language. So why do we take these drugs? Okay, so at home when you're preparing for IELTS and you're practicing, you should be asking the full question, okay? So Rashni says to aid in the relief of pain, sure. To reduce pain, Yeah, Suleiman, some drugs are not synthetic. That's fine. They're chemicals, though. Most pharmaceutical drugs, anyway. Yep. Hinji, Yato team says to reduce pain and stress. Rekha says to cure disease. Okay. So, yeah, in some cases it's to cure illness. And some of you are saying it's to decrease pain or stress. If we want to say that in one kind of simple way, I don't see it so far yet. Some people say to provide energy. Yeah. If I'm coughing, sneezing, and maybe in the last couple classes you heard me, I was just getting over a cold, so I had a bit of a cough. But coughing, fever, sweating, pain, what are those? What's the one word that summarizes all of those different feelings together? I'm trying to avoid using the word. I'm sure a couple of you are light bulbs going off. Oh yeah, bing, that's the word. Not addiction, not inflammation. It starts with an S. Still don't see it. I'm sure one of you will come up. It's not suffering, although that's not a bad idea. When you cough, when you sneeze, when you have inflammation, when you have fever, those are all called, yeah, Carrie, it's, you went over the top. Marwa's got the right answer. There's the symptoms, okay? Okay, symptom relief. So remember that. That's a new word for you. It's a good word to remember. Symptoms. Medical words, simple medical words are really good to know in English because you never know when you might need to use them in the world, traveling somewhere. Symptoms include coughing, sneezing, fever. So they are the signs of the disease. So signs of the illness. So why do we take drugs? We take them to cure disease, and in many cases we take them to relieve the symptoms, right? To not have symptoms, okay? There's the symptom of my previous cold still, that cough. Okay, and then how? So how do we get pharmaceutical drugs like painkillers? Okay, these are really important questions. So this what, why, how, you need to fly through this in your 3-4 minutes of planning. In the real IELTS, you're doing most of this in your brain. You might want to write down a couple of quick notes on the paper before you actually start writing your essay. So Rekha says they're prescribed by doctors. Absolutely. So how does the doctor prescribe them? So what is the method of prescription? So some of them are over the counter too, right? You can buy a lot of painkillers without a prescription. Some are over, I believe it's done like this, over the counter. You can just buy them. Okay, over the counter means you don't need a prescription. No prescription needed. Marasa, I think you had a good answer there and then you retracted it. It's too bad. You said after the doctor does an examination. Yeah, and Man Rand Hawa is giving us the correct word for that. You're saying after diagnosis. So yeah, you get a diagnosis by the doctor and then you get a prescription, right? All right, sure, that's how. And then the people take it. So let's jump here a little bit. What is overuse? Means use these drugs when not needed. Right? Let's jump a little bit more. Why? And this is going to, so you should realize that this will be your body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2. So this is where you need to come up with 2 good reasons of why people overuse these drugs. Why do people use these drugs too much? Okay. So it means that they're using it beyond the needed amount. Okay, so some of you are saying because they're addictive and you can get addicted. Okay. Why else? So one is the person. Okay, it's an easy fix, sure. Okay, stress. People are not aware of side effects. Aha, good one by Parth Panchal. He says they're easily available. Okay. And they're overprescribed, right? I think a lot of you probably know about this, that doctors also sometimes just take the easy route. Somebody comes in, they cough twice, and they look a little bit feverish. Ah, you got a flu here. Yep, take that real quick. Unfortunately, there's a lot of incentives for doctors, right? Medical companies suggest to the doctors, hey, if you prescribe 1,000 of these pills in the next year, you might just get a Christmas present from us, which is a cruise to Hawaii, right? Pachu says it could be peer pressure. Yeah, that's unfortunately happening as well in the world. So peer pressure as well, sure. All right, so we've got lots there. Should you write about all of these? So when you're writing this essay, should you include all of this information? People get addicted. It's an easy fix for illness and symptoms. It's easily available or overprescribed by doctors. There's peer pressure from friends, family, to, hey, why don't you just take a couple of painkillers? Actually, I got some in my cupboard, so here. So should you write about all of these? Should you write this one, that one, that one, that one, and all these different points in your essay? Just wonder, peer pressure, peer is your friend or your classmate, and they're pushing you to do something. Okay, that's what that means. Peer pressure means being pressured or pushed by your friends. Okay, Preeti Sina says, no, don't write about all of this. It's too much, absolutely. This is a big question. You could write a 10-page essay, no problem, on this question and this topic about the causes and the solutions. So in a 250 to 300 word, 320 word, one-page essay, you cannot write about all of these points with good detail, good examples. So you can't do that, okay? So you have to be able to just focus on a couple of key points. So which one should we focus on? I say let's focus on this one. It's an easy one. People get addicted. Okay. It's very, very common. Painkillers, sleeping pills are addictive. Okay. And let's talk about this one, that they're overprescribed. So it's an easy fix. We can kind of take those two. Okay. So how? Well, they contain, so sleeping pills, painkillers, contain addictive chemicals for the human brain, right? It's one. Easily available. Doctors are quick to prescribe drugs to patients that can be bought in many places, right? So those are the hows. Let's get to our thesis statement, students. So now that we have the what, why, how very clearly, you've done a great job, by the way. So now let's get to our thesis statement. So use especially the information from here. And let's get to our thesis statement. I realize we haven't talked about the solutions, but clearly there are solutions for this. And we'll get to that after. Okay, we'll get to that in a moment. So Saurabh says, yeah, they should be consumed carefully according to what the doctor says. There are other solutions. We can get into that, but we have enough to get our thesis out. Okay. Good evening, Farheen. Welcome to the class. So get your thesis statement down. Look at your paper. I'm going to write mine at the same time. Pay attention to your thesis statement. Write down your thesis statement, and then we will compare. Okay, let's see what your thesis statements are. Again, when you know what you're doing, when you're practicing your thesis statement at home before you sit the IELTS, you should practice at least 10, 20, 30 of these essays. You should be practicing just thesis statements on several occasions as well so that you can become very effective at that. Hi, Shanu. Good to see you in class. You will be able to come up with an effective thesis statement quickly, okay? And they should be direct thesis statement, especially the causes, okay? Even if you don't write a direct points for the solutions, at least write direct points for the causes, okay? So it's very clear for your reader, the examiner in this case, where you're taking the essay, what the direction is of the essay, okay? So let's see what you have, okay? Don't be shy, deep RAR. You had a good start there. I would have given you a bit of correction. So here's my thesis. The primary reasons that legal drugs are being overused is addiction and prescription. Nevertheless, there are solutions to these challenges that ought to be implemented, okay? Amjad says, very good question. Sir, can we just write, in this essay, I will examine why people overuse legal drugs and I will also provide some possible. No, Amjad, don't write that. It's got very little value. It's actually got zero value. I know that's what you will write in the essay because that's the question the essay is asking you. And that is a big problem that many students make, is that they write what they will write about. That's poor communication, it's poor writing. It's the same in speaking and presentation. You shouldn't say what you will talk about. You should just say it, okay? So it's much better, Amjad, to write a direct thesis where you express clearly right away what you are writing about, okay? Not what you will write about. I know that's what you're going to write about. Don't waste your time on that. Instead, use that time to give me information, all right? Okay, Rekha says, although medical pills give quick relief from pain, its overuse has negative effects because of addiction and easy availability. Rekha, that's a logic mistake in there. So it's not, the addiction is not the negative effect and its easy availability. Addiction and its easy availability are the causes of its overuse. So just kind of reevaluate the logic of what you're saying there, Rekha, and you'll realize that it's logically flawed, okay? You're very welcome, Amjad. It's a very good question, and I've seen too many students do that. And when I was teaching Part 3 speaking yesterday, it's the same idea. IELTS examiners don't like to read or hear catchphrases that all IELTS students are learning around the world, and it's not showing actual quality English communication. So you need to avoid that to get high band scores, okay? Violeta Castro Paredes says, the reasons for overuse of these drugs are quick access to them, and reinforcing prescription in drugstores could help to control. Yeah, absolutely. So Violeta, you're going into the solution case as well, but don't forget that you need to show your 2 points or 2 causes for the overuse problem, right? You're only showing one in your thesis so far. You're only showing the easy access to the drugs. Also show the addiction part as well. Okay, let's get writing, students. So it's a good start. Let's get cracking on the writing. Here we go. Okay, I got 30 minutes to do this, and I don't want to rush you. So let's start with the introduction. Okay, introduction starts with a hook. For those of you that are new to this, the hook, it's like a fishing hook, right? The fishing hook has a little worm on it, juicy little worm. That juicy little worm, it should look really tasty so that you catch a nice big juicy fish to cook for supper. And that's what you're doing with the hook. When you're writing, you write a simple sentence, okay? So simple, error-free, no spelling mistakes, no grammar mistakes. It looks really bad to have grammar mistakes in your first sentence or spelling mistakes. So your hook, keep it simple. It's a fact. Includes the topic. Topic here is prescription drugs. And it should catch your reader, okay? So something that catches your reader. Boom. Is it true? Maybe. Maybe not. But it will definitely catch the attention of your reader. The overuse of prescription drugs is becoming a greater problem than illegal drugs. Wow. You may agree with me. You may not. But believe me when I say that in North America anyway, in Canada and the US, when I was a younger guy back in the 90s, 80s and 90s, there were always ads on TV about the terrible effects of illegal drugs, okay, and drug pushers and so on. And these days, the commercials on TV, the advertisements, aren't about illegal drugs anymore, but they're about kids using prescription drugs that they're taking from their parents and buying from stores. So okay, so the overuse of prescription drugs is becoming a greater problem than illegal drugs. I don't know if that's completely true or true everywhere, but sure enough, it will catch your reader. Okay, so now we want to give a background. Background includes your definitions and your importance. Okay, so here, when you think about your background, think about 2 really simple questions that you answer in just a couple of sentences, okay? Illegal drugs, Manrandhawa, are also called illicit drugs. Illicit drugs are like cocaine, heroin, opium, marijuana in many parts of the world, no longer Canada. So those are called the illicit or illegal drugs, okay? Preeti, that's a good one too. Okay, that's a great hook. Excessive use of drugs has, not can have, Preeti, be affirmative. Excessive use of drugs has disastrous effects on the human body. Prajim, that's kind of weird, although it's true. Hey, it's a good hook. The pharmaceutical medicines are becoming increasingly popular worldwide. Yeah, I don't know if popular worldwide is the best way to express that, but yeah, interesting hook. Okay, I'll take it. Okay. Henji Yato, that's a good one. Nowadays, medicines are a common way for people to deal with stress in life. Okay. All right. Yeah, good. Sure. Okay. And background definition. So basically, you want to tell your reader here, okay, what kind of drugs are you talking about? And why is it important to talk about them? And your hook, Preeti, it was a good one for that. Okay. So, okay, so there we go. I threw it out there. Again, if I'm going a little bit fast for you here, don't panic. Okay, I'm just showing you that when you know what you're writing, you can go nice and smooth. You should practice this at home, okay? So hook, you throw out a fact that catches your reader, background. You explain to your reader what you're talking about and why you're talking about this, so why this question is pertinent or important to be discussed. And then from there, you go into your thesis, okay? So once you have this, you just basically, quote unquote, copy paste your thesis, and wada bang, you're ready to go with the body paragraphs, okay? So drugs such as painkillers and mood enhancers are being used on a daily basis by hundreds of millions of people to avoid symptoms of stress and anxiety, okay? So that's what we're talking about. Why are we talking about it? The continuous overuse of these drugs has detrimental effects on the body and society. Detrimental means negative, terrible, damaging. Okay? If you are seeing new words or new vocabulary here, then great. Learn them. Okay? Underline them. Come back to the lesson. Learn what these words mean. Okay? Yeah, Prajim, you're right on the same page as I am, just saying it in a different way. Most people take drugs to gain strength and have relief from pain and anxiety. Trung Tai Tun Hoi, alleviate, is a very nice synonym for the word relief. Okay, so that's great. Now here, all I need to do is take my thesis that I have here. And of course, in the real exam, you're using pencil and paper, unless you're doing the computer version of IELTS now, which is available. And you're copy pasting. I'm not sure if you can copy paste in the computer version. I haven't done it myself yet. Try it out maybe next year early, so I know if you can or not. But here, I just copy paste in my my thesis, and it works. Okay. So the primary reasons that legal drugs are being overused is addiction and prescription, okay? Are addiction and prescription. Nevertheless, there are solutions to these challenges that ought to be implemented, okay? So there is my introduction. Now, students, if you're good in English, if you have some solid skills, if you're good at writing, you're not worried about the 40-minute time limit, the 250-word minimum, and you're like, okay, Adrian, I can do this. So I've been practicing, and I know many of our members that watch these classes regularly, they're getting confident. At this point, when you finish your introduction, a really good strategy, if it doesn't take you too long, okay, if this doesn't take you too long to come up with the thesis and the introduction, before you write your body paragraph 1, just skim read your introduction and make sure you haven't made some critical mistake, like missed a controlling idea or wrote about the wrong topic, okay? Like suddenly you realize you're writing about illegal drugs, okay, or banned illicit drugs. Boom, whoa, that would be terrible, okay? If you started to write about illegal drugs by accident, you'd be in trouble. All right? All right, so let's read it together, make sure it makes sense. The overuse of prescription drugs is becoming a greater problem than illegal drugs. Drugs such as painkillers and mood enhancers are being used on a daily basis by hundreds of millions of people to avoid symptoms of stress and anxiety. The continuous overuse of these drugs has detrimental effects on the body and society. The primary reasons that legal drugs are being overused are addiction and prescription. Nevertheless, there are solutions to these challenges that ought to be implemented. Okay? Now, Muras is asking, should we talk about the causes in the first paragraph and solutions in the second one? Or write about the problem and solution in one paragraph? Murasa, because the problem and the solution are directly related in this case, so here's the problem, here's the solution, there's a direct connection, it's better to write about problem solution in one paragraph, problem 2, solution 2 in the second paragraph, and then conclusion, okay? It will work much better. So let's do that, okay? So let's get right into body paragraph 1. And body paragraph 1 starts with our topic sentence, okay? And in our topic sentence, what we need to do is give a deeper reflection or definition of our first problem, okay? Our first problem is addiction. What is addiction? Addiction is what? Can somebody tell me? Yeah, very good. So Trong Tai Tan says, forming a habit. Yeah, and it can be physical, it can be mental, okay, and it's a dependence. Okay, so there we go. Physical dependence or mental dependence to the chemicals that are contained in the drugs. Can we give a deeper explanation of that? Sure. Okay, some or many painkillers Okay, so many prescription painkillers contain opioid substances that the body can become very addicted to. Now, if you don't know some of these words, like you don't know the word opioid, okay? It's okay, just use more simple words. So you can say many prescription painkillers contain chemicals that the body can become addicted to, okay? You don't have to use the more specific word opioid. Opioid meaning coming from the opium derivative or the poppy, okay? All right, can we give an example of this? Sure. Now this essay is first person because the question is asking originally, all the way back here, include any relevant explanations and examples from your own experience to support your opinion. And then here, you can just make it up. You can use first person I, okay, because it's asking for your opinion from your own knowledge and experience. So here comes the example. Okay, so for instance, one of my colleagues got very addicted to Tylenol painkillers after having to take them for 2 weeks following an operation. Tylenol is one of the brands, one of the big brands in North America. That's a specific example. Don't confuse examples with explanations, okay? So far, our body paragraph reads, as a major reason that many people become regular users of drugs is due to developing either a mental or physical dependence to chemicals contained in drugs. Many prescription painkillers contain opioid substances that the body can become very addicted to. For instance, one of my colleagues got, if we don't say very addicted, there is a kind of a phrasal verb. Anybody know the phrasal verb for addicted? Let's see how many of, I'm sure a couple of you probably crossed paths with the phrasal verb for addiction. There is a phrasal verb for addiction. I'm going to replace that just to avoid redundancy. Fentanyl, alien eater, is a very powerful opioid, synthetic opioid that many people are dying from in North America, in fact. Absolutely. It's not stick to. It's not stick to. I'll give you a hint. We use this word in the beginning of the introduction. That's right, Mike Maddie. Hooked. It's hooked on. Okay? Again, just like the fishing hook, so a bit of redundancy. Got hooked on. Okay? Hooked on means to become addicted to. So, for instance, one of my colleagues got hooked on Tylenol painkillers after having to take them for 2 weeks following an operation. Okay, are we done the paragraph? Yeah, so developing a dependence, we have that earlier in the paragraph, Afsana. Hooked on is the phrasal verb. Are we done our paragraph? So can we stop here now? Is that it? Hooked on was the phrasal verb that I was looking for. That was good job there by Mike Maddie for coming up with that. Okay, you get a little virtual gold star from me, Mike Maddie, for that one. Yeah, the solution, Marasa, that's right. Yeah, the solution. So we need to think about a solution. What is a solution? Solutions would be, for example, control by friends and family, and of course the doctor, right? So more attention being paid to people who are taking prescription drugs that have addictive qualities by society and by the family to make sure that they don't develop a lasting addiction. So we can make that up, okay? Okay, Farheen, that was a good example too. Okay, that works. So don't forget your solution when it's a cause and solution essay. Okay, so although it may be difficult, families and society needs to step in and regulate people who are in danger of developing such addictions. There, for instance, for example, because I used for instance before, a mandatory checkup or follow-up by doctors to make sure the person is no longer using the drugs after they are no longer required, right? So, for example, a mandatory follow-up by doctors to make sure the medicines are not being used past their suggested time. Okay. All right, so that could be the solution. All right. Looks like I'm writing a lot, but it's not really a lot, students, because remember, I'm using size 16 font here, so I'm getting a lot less words on one line, okay? So that would be the solution, okay? Now, we can do a connecting sentence, but our information is quite good here, so we don't have to have a connecting sentence. Again, if you're quick and you're good at writing and you're like, I still have like 20 minutes, no problem to get my body paragraph 2 and my conclusion out there, then, no, yeah, sure, put in your connecting sentence, okay? Okay, I'm going to give you a different one here today. However, this is just one side of the coin, okay? So here, I'm saying that basically everything I mentioned in this body paragraph is one side of the problem or one side of the situation of the cause. However, this is just one side of the coin. And then I can start my next paragraph, body paragraph 2, off by what? How can I start my body paragraph 2? I bet you can figure this out, where I'm trying to lead you to for the topic sentence. Remember the second point. Okay, what was my second point? Second point was prescription, that they're being over-prescribed. Okay, so remember, here's the thesis. Drugs are being overused, legal drugs are being overused, are addiction, we just did addiction, and prescription. Prescription means they're being prescribed. So we need to do that one now. All right. So let's start off with that one. Yeah, it's the other cause, Marwa. That's right. The other cause is being that we mentioned in the introduction and the thesis is they're being overprescribed, okay? So if I finish my last paragraph with, however, this is just one side of the coin, I can start my other side of the coin, or that was a Freudian slip. I was going to say I can start my other paragraph by saying the other side of this coin is that doctors are over prescribing many of these pharmaceutical drugs unnecessarily. Okay? What comes after? So I have my topic sentence for my body paragraph 2 now. What comes after that one? It's going to be my explanation, right? So I need to explain that. Okay? What do I mean by that? Why am I saying this? Why am I saying such crazy things? Am I saying crazy things? Maybe. Maybe not. Okay? I need to explain it. So, okay, so in many cases, doctors and patients are looking for quick and easy solutions rather than effective solutions, or instead of repeating solutions, I can say rather than effective healing, right? Remember, symptoms, and this is just a bit of advice here as well, symptoms are a natural reaction of the body. Fevers, coughing, shaking, and all of these diarrhea, vomiting, these are natural reactions of the body, inflammation, and to some extent they are your healing processes. So your body is healing by this process. When your body runs a fever, when your temperature goes up, what your body's doing is it's increasing your body temperature to increase metabolic action, and to a certain point, that is actually helping your body to heal, okay? Of course, past a certain point, it can be very dangerous and even deadly. So you have to find that right balance. But it's not a good idea to very quickly relieve symptoms for the sake of feeling comfortable, okay? If you have pain, that's a sign of your body to slow down, take care of yourself, okay? So there's reasons why you feel pain. It excites your immune response. That's right, Yagnesh. So those are all really, really important, right? So too often people are quick to run to the doctor, and too often the doctor is quick to just say, oh yeah, just take this pill, no problem. You'll feel great in 1 hour. Sure, but you're still sick, okay? In many cases, doctors and patients are looking for quick and easy solutions rather than effective healing. For example, or to illustrate, having a fever is part of the healing process, and it is not good to suppress. Suppress means to push down or push away, okay? To suppress such symptoms too quickly. Okay, and then we need to give an example, right? So you don't need to, again, this essay is 350 words if you're going for a band 9. You don't need to write too much, okay? Careful not to over-explain, because you really could, especially with this topic. You could explain a lot. So get into example. I know that one of my friends takes 2 antibiotics as soon as she feels a bit of a chill or a cough coming on, okay? This is simply not good, right? And this leads to overuse of drugs. A little bit of a, or a little bit, I feel cold, okay, quickly, pills, right? It's not good. Are we done yet? Solutions. One way to avoid this easy way out is to publicly advertise to people the dangers of using pharmaceutical drugs too readily. Okay? In fact, in my hometown in Victoria, in Canada, British Columbia, on the buses, we have these beautiful two-story buses, and on many of these buses, on the side of the buses during cold and flu season, you can see big advertisements that say, careful not to use antibiotics too much because they won't work when you need them to. Okay, so there is actually advertising now in some parts of the world, including my hometown, for not using antibiotics and prescription drugs unnecessarily. Okay. Anji Yato team says, can we write 4 examples in whole task? I don't think so. I'm not sure where you're going with that, Hanji, with the 4 examples. Okay. You can write examples, absolutely. All right. Don't use the same word, like for example, use for instance or in one case. All right. Thank you, Pooja. All right, so one way to avoid this easy way out is to publicly advertise to people the dangers of using pharmaceutical drugs too readily and suggest alternative healing methods such as home remedies and traditional medicine. Okay, I just thought I'd expand on that for you a little bit. Because I see that we've gotten to that 1 hour. I was really hoping to get this done under an hour. But it's going to be a little bit more. I really do want to show you that you can get an awesome essay done in 40 minutes. I mean, just think, I'm talking a lot here. In fact, I've probably only been writing for about 20 minutes at most. The other 40 minutes I've been commenting on your comments and explaining to you what you need to do and how to do. So imagine if I can do all of this and I can look at all of your comments and make corrections and give you explanations. Imagine how long of an essay I could write in 40 minutes. So you can too, okay? You can too with practice, and you can write awesome essays with practice. So let's get that conclusion out, okay? So in conclusion, conclusion paragraph is next. Start it with in conclusion, okay? In conclusion, conclude your 2 points, okay? So causes, solutions, conclude those 2 points. So in conclusion, physical or dependence are 2 of the major causes of widespread use of legal drugs in the world. Okay. All right, and then we strengthen our opinion. Nevertheless, there are obvious and effective solutions to these challenges that society must take into consideration. Okay? All right, so all I'm doing here is I'm concluding my 2 points. I'm strengthening my argument here about the effective solutions. And then a take-home message, okay? So something that we can get from the points of the essay, not introducing a new idea. Okay, do not introduce a new idea. But give your reader a useful message that can be clearly understood from your essay. Okay, so what is a good message? And I'm going to put this out to you, our beautiful students and viewers. What is a good message that I can leave my reader with, leave them thinking about when they go home, when they go to bed at night, when they go to reach for that painkiller? What is a good message that I can gently give to my reader, which will help them to think, hey, that was a useful essay. That was valuable use of my time to read this author's information. Okay? Because if you can do that, you're now pushing for a nice band 8.59. Okay? If you've done all of these steps so far, you've kept your essay clean, error-free, even if you're not using a lot of fancy words, if you have the right structure, you have some good information flow, and you leave your reader with a quality piece of information that they can apply in their real life, then you're going to get a very good band score, and you're also mastering the right way to compose an essay for university, for business. Okay? So when you do this, when you learn this strategy and this structure, you're not just going to get a good score on your IELTS exam, you're going to be learning the right steps for quality writing in your university classes, your college classes, in your company, when you're persuading your business partners. So that's why you need to master this, okay? You're very welcome, Afsana. So what's a good way? What's a good way to leave your reader in this essay? Think about it. Sulap, your example should be relevant by connecting to your explanation. Your example should be directly related to your explanation always, okay? So your Salem Brehan says the use of alternative drugs rather than relying on pharmaceutical drugs, as they have less side effects compared to chemical drugs. Okay, your Salem, it's not a bad idea. You're a little bit off because you're kind of introducing a new idea which we didn't talk too much about. So we did mention alternative medicines, but we really didn't talk about why. But you're on the right track, okay? You're not far off. Prajim says, in the end, we must decide what kind of medicine is the best for us and where our money is best spent. Okay, we didn't talk about spending money, Prajim, so we can't give that. The first half is not bad, so in the end, we must decide what medicine is the best. Okay, sure. All right, I'm going to finish it up and think about it, okay? So... Okay, so something like that. So it is the responsibility of individuals, professionals, and society to make sure that this problem does not get further out of control in coming years. Okay, why? We talked about that, right? We talked about the person getting addicted. We talked about the doctors overprescribing. We talked about families and communities being responsible for advertising and controlling individuals, right? So something like that, okay? Alien Eater says, it is imperative to follow the advice of doctors and take prescribed medicines exactly as they are instructed. Yeah, that's a good one too. Or another one could be, it is important for individuals to have due diligence when taking such risky medicines, okay? All right, here we go. Let's read the essay together, make sure it's not completely out of whack. I'll do a word count for you in the end as well. So the overuse of prescription drugs is becoming a greater problem than illegal drugs. Drugs such as painkillers and mood enhancers are being used on a daily basis by hundreds of millions of people to avoid symptoms of stress and anxiety. The continuous overuse of these drugs has detrimental effects on the body and society. The primary reasons that legal drugs are being overused are addiction and prescription. Nevertheless, there are solutions to these challenges that ought to be implemented. A major reason that many people become regular users of drugs is due to developing either a mental and or a physical dependence to chemicals contained in medicines. Many prescription painkillers contain opioid substances that the body can become very addicted to. For instance, one of my colleagues got hooked on Tylenol painkillers after having to take them for 2 weeks following an operation. Although it may be difficult, families and society need to step in and regulate people who are in danger of developing such addictions. For example, a mandatory follow-up by doctors to make sure medicines are not being used past their suggested schedule. However, this is just one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is that doctors are overprescribing many of these pharmaceutical drugs unnecessarily. In many cases, doctors and patients are looking for quick and easy solutions rather than effective healing. To illustrate, having a fever is part of the healing process, and it is not a good idea to suppress such symptoms too quickly. I know that one of my friends takes 2 antibiotics as soon as she feels a bit of a chill or cough coming on. One way to avoid this easy way out is to publicly advertise to people the dangers of using pharmaceutical drugs too readily and suggest alternative healing methods such as home remedies and traditional medicine. In conclusion, drug dependence and overprescription are 2 of the major causes of widespread use of legal drugs in the world. Nevertheless, there are obvious and effective solutions to these challenges that society must take into consideration. It is the responsibility of individuals, professionals, and society to make sure that this problem does not get further out of control in coming years. Okay, write that essay. I promise you will get a band 9 on that question for IELTS. So again, notice the structure. Notice how I did that with one cause and one solution when they're related like that for each body paragraph. Ladies and gentlemen, we have writing and editing help available on our websites. So to get feedback on your writing, professional editing, really learn from your mistakes, use our editing services on the website. Check us out at aehelp.com for academic IELTS, gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. Join our premium course, 30% discount. Partner 30 is the code for you. You are very welcome, Sakita. You are very welcome, Moazam Ahmed. I'm glad to have been with you this past hour. You've all done a fantastic job. There were some great suggestions. To the brave go the spoils. So always appreciate students who are commenting and putting themselves out there, not worrying about grammar mistakes and so on. That's how we learn. Ladies and gents, have an awesome rest of your day. I will see you tomorrow for some reading strategy. Same time, same channel. Have some sweet dreams. Much love to all of you. Have a great rest of your day. Bye for now.